good connections, and certainly a lot of people who don't have good connections don't realize that, and they're very, very quick and happy to assign blame to the webinar platform, to the webinar presenter. So you have a lot of that type of human dynamic that happens around the technology. You can limit that kind of discussion by just letting them use their number. It's a long distance number. Most people don't have to worry about long distance charges with cell phones anymore, so that's not as big an issue. You can, get a toll-free number from them if you want. Of course, there's some additional charges involved with that. Panelists are a really great idea. Panelists, if you want to work with panelists and people, I've done this, and I'll be doing a lot of this moving forward again. You can invite panelists into your webinar by putting their names and addresses here, email addresses, and what will happen when you put a panelist into a program, it will send them an email address. Now, obviously, you're going to want to talk to a panelist before you send them an email address and say, I'm having a webinar in such and such a day on April 11th. Would you like to join my webinar about copyright? Would you like to be part of that as a panelist? And you want to have that discussion with somebody prior to inviting them. Otherwise, they won't know, that you're doing that. So, again, that's part of a planning that's going to be appearing on a checklist. We have a special checklist for working with panelists and guests. And I think that's a really, really neat thing to be able to do. It makes it a lot more interactive. It makes it a lot more interesting. Up here, there's a link that says, see how to create a webinar in 3 easy steps. And again, this is really, really neat platform for training. Schedule it, brand it, and create a registration. These are the 3 steps, and they have some really, really great training here. My suggestion is that when you do activate your free month of subscription, that you go in there and you do their little technical training and get up to speed on that, because that's very, very helpful. And then create a webinar from scratch that is a practice webinar. Don't just start a webinar and create a real webinar before you've done something that totally from scratch that you have done for practice. At least do one webinar where you have invited a couple of people who are going to be looking at this on a couple of different types of browsers. Get somebody to watch it on a Mac, get somebody to watch it on a PC, and then run a couple of tests and see how that goes. Just so that you're comfortable and you don't get to the webinar at the end of the day and find out that you've got a problem. Branding and theme, you can upload a logo here for yourself. I'm not going to go through all of this because it's very, very simple. You just click on the link, you pick a file from your computer, and you upload it. The logo image can be up to 400 by 200 pixels. You can choose a theme image. There's no image there, but you can upload an image here. It will appear in the right-hand column of the registration page. And then there's a webinar waiting room. You can fill that in. You can change the color of the waiting room. Your logo will appear here. You can have another custom image, and you can have a picture of yourself as a presenter. And then when the webinar is starting, and before you actually start your presentation, it's a page that holds people's attention, in the moments preceding the actual startup of the webinar. So you have a great deal of an ability to customize that. And then you can preview the theme, you can preview the waiting room, you can see what it looks like, and read that. And then, of course, if you see anything that needs to be fixed, you can always go back and you can change it. Because everything that you've done here is editable. The registration, very, very important page here. Okay, and it's important because a lot of the default settings on this page are settings that you probably want to disable. It's an important rule of thumb to know